How's it going, guys? Andrew here with Justified EDC, and today I have a review for you on not a knife, but a tool. This is the FLC Knives pry tool, or pry bar, whatever you want to call it. So this is not going to be the normal knife review, but it is going to be along the same lines. We're going to go over all the same stuff that we normally do: specs, size comparisons, my use, my thoughts, all that good stuff. A couple things I want to do here before we get into the review, just some housekeeping things. I'm going to go ahead and thank the sponsor of the channel, Auxiliary Manufacturing. Thank you, Mike, for sponsoring the channel, continuing to sponsor us, sending products for us to review, helping me buy gear from the channel, giving me shout outs, all that kind of stuff. Mike makes really awesome custom fixed blades here in the USA, so if you're interested in that, I will have links down in the description to his Instagram and his website and his YouTube. I also do have a discount code with him, Justified10 will get you 10% off your order, so if you're interested in something like that, definitely go check out his page. So the other housekeeping thing I want to do here before we jump into the review, on the lines of sponsorship and stuff like that, is I've started to get reached out to by some companies to do stuff like ad reads and, putting like ad reads in my videos. So they would be monetarily sponsoring me. They'd be paying me to do these reviews. Or these ad reads, I guess I should say. So what I want to ask you guys is that something that will kind of take away from the videos? Or is it the kind of thing that if you're interested, you'll watch it, if you won't, you'll skip over it, all good? I just kind of want to get some feedback from you guys on what you would think about, and they're not going to be anything crazy. Like the one that I'm working with right now, it'll be like a 60-second ad read within the first couple minutes of the video. So if that's something that, if that's going to bother you, definitely let me know. If you don't really care, and if you're happy to just watch it or skip over it or whatever, just let me know either way. Just want to get some feedback. Just moving forward with the channel as it grows and as we get more sponsors and companies reaching out to do ads and stuff like that. I don't want to take away from the very close-knit nature of the channel and have it be too distracting. So if that's something that you're interested in, please let me know. If that's something you're not interested in, please let me know. But leave me a comment down below, just your thoughts on that. So obviously, if you want to skip over that whole thing, you can go ahead. Timestamps are always in the description. But we're going to go ahead and get right into this. So just some background on this before we get into specs and everything. FLC Knives is based out of Canada. As far as I know, they are a one-man shop. They mostly do knives. They do kind of like get-off-me tools, like very self-defense oriented, just small, pokey, stabby kind of knives that are very slim and discreet and easy to carry and tuck away somewhere. I've had some of his knives in the past. His Kydex work is also very excellent. He's kind of known for, and he can correct me if I'm wrong in the description or in the comments here, but I believe he was the one that invented this kind of like tri-fold joint in the Kydex to keep things, very slim, where you only have to do rivets on the one side. For a while, he was selling a tool to kind of make your own tri-fold joints for Kydex. So if you're interested in that, definitely go check his page out. His Kydex work is almost just as interesting as his knives and stuff. So very well done. But I had reached out and when I saw that he was coming out with a pry tool to kind of get some info, and then I ended up buying one. I said, so this was not sent to me for review. I did tell him I was going to do a review on it, but I purchased this with my own money. There was no exchange of product, exchange of money, or anything like that, just to get some disclosure out of the way. But that's kind of the background on it. And I had been searching for a really good EDC pry bar for a long time, and I think this has finally solved my problem. So we'll get into specs and everything like that here, and then when I get down to the road to my thoughts and stuff like that, I'll kind of go into that a little bit further. So we're going to get you some sizes here. So your overall length here is right about at 6 inches. Your thickness is a 1/2 inch. Your overall thickness here is about an 1/8 inch. This is made of O1 tool steel, so nice, tough. Again, when you're not making an actual edge on anything, you don't really need to have it have a lot of edge retention or anything like that. It just needed to be tough. So this is made of O1 tool steel. You have this tiny little bit of jute wrap up here, just help you get it out of the sheath. The lanyard did not come on here. I added this just to be able to grab it out of the pocket easier. And one thing I should mention is that he does do various lengths of the jute wrap. So if you want one with a little bit more handle, you can get them where they're wrapped a little bit farther down, and then just kind of it sticks out of the sheath a little bit more, so your sheath's a little bit shorter, but you have a little bit more sticking out to be able to grab, a little bit more handle. I opted for this because I wanted to be as minimal as possible. I already have a lot of stuff in my pockets, so really all that's sticking out is that. Very discreet, very easy to carry. The sheath, again, got that really cool trifold joint. Discreet Carry Concepts clip, the one of the small ones here. That is a cloth grabber, so you can clip that onto your pocket, and that retains the sheath in your pocket when you draw and put it back. And then it is just friction fit. If you can see down inside there, there's a little nub there that just keeps that retained. And that is that. So I know some people ask for the length with the sheath. That is just over 6 inches when it's in the sheath. And then let me get you a weight here. So weight without the sheath, the pry bar itself is right about 2 ounces. With the sheath, looking at right about 3 ounces, give or take. So a very lightweight, easy to carry tool. I really appreciate when makers kind of think out their carry systems and, you know, all the convenience of that. So I'm going to get some size comparisons here for you. I know you usually do that a little bit later in the video, but I want to get some size comparisons in here just so you can kind of get an idea of what you're looking at, because I've noticed as I've been posting this that not a lot of people are familiar with this tool. So just a couple things here. Let me grab these out. I actually forgot to grab my size comparison stuff. So some stuff that everyone's familiar with. Sorry, move my mat here a little bit. This is a Gonzo, but is the same overall profile as the Delica, same size. So if you're familiar with Spyderco Delica, got that going here. Here is a Leatherman Wave. So next to the Wave, there you go. Again, it is just a 6-inch long piece of steel, so it shouldn't be that hard for you to gauge, but we're still going to do size comparisons anyway. Here is a Buck 110, since everyone knows what those are. Here is a TRM Neutron 2. This is the ProTech Emerson CQC7. So if you're familiar with Emerson CQC7 series, that'll do that. And let's see, since we did the other Buck, here's a Buck 112. This is the light version. And that should give you a pretty good idea of size. Oh, you know, the one thing I always put in here for tool reviews, here is the Milwaukee Fastback. So open, closed. That's a good size comparison that a lot of people are familiar with. So let's get into this then in terms of the idea behind it, why I started carrying it, and how it's performed. So I've been wanting a dedicated EDC pry bar for a while, and the market is really oversaturated in the EDC world. And most of them, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, are pretty shitty. They're not very good. They're usually made out of very soft materials because people care more about fashion than function. So they're usually pretty soft titanium or brass or copper. You very rarely see a pry bar made out of steel, which is what a pry bar should be made out of. You need it to pry. You need it to hold up. I don't want the tip of my pry bar chipping and cracking as soon as I use it. I don't want it bending as I'm actually prying in something. I've had a lot of titanium pry bars over the years, and guess what? They usually break. I usually end up chipping or cracking out the tip because titanium is a soft material. Now, relative to something else like brass, which is an even worse idea for a pry bar, it's a little bit better. But pry bars should be made out of steel, like as we should. This is 2 ounces. It's really not that heavy. So the argument of, oh, titanium's so light, it's going to be lighter in your EDC. It's really not. A piece of steel is not that. I'm not going to get more into that. I think it's stupid. So this is a well-designed pry bar. It's simple. It doesn't have any stupid bit drivers or bottle openers or weird hex cutouts that people fantasize about using on a bolt someday that you're never actually going to do. No, it's just a slab of steel. It's not too thick. It's got a little bit to grab onto. It's beveled on both sides, and it's made out of a material you can actually pry with. It's got enough length that you can get underneath stuff and get some leverage. This is a well-thought-out tool, and it has a well-thought-out carry system. A lot of pry bars have no carry system. They just expect you to throw them in your pocket. Sometimes they have like an integrated pocket clip that it kind of works, but doesn't really work all that well, or they kind of messes with your ergos. And very rarely do you see them have any kind of actual sheath system where it actually retains it in your pocket. A lot of those built-in pocket clips, they don't have a whole lot of retention. I've had them fall out of my pocket, or I have to put them in an organizer, and then it's not very quick to get to and put away. It's just kind of more of an inconvenience than anything. So what I had been using before this was I carry this Leatherman Free T2 in conjunction with some Knipex pliers as my multi-tool. It's just what works best for me. And on here you have a large like flathead, and I would just kind of use this as my pry tool. And now there's nothing wrong with this, but again, it's inside an organizer because I don't need to get to it all that often. But when I wanted to quick get into something, I'd open that up, pull this out, open the tool, get the tool out. And then you also, it's not that long, you don't have a whole lot of leverage on it. Again, it thickens up here in the handle, so you can't really get it into stuff. It works okay, but it's made of steel, so that's an improvement over 99% of the pry bars out there, but it's not ideal. Same thing where like if you carry a Leatherman and you end up just using like the flathead driver or like whatever this tool is. Again, they're on pivots, they can break. If they break, you have to replace them. And then you're down a flathead. Same thing if you carry something like the Skeletal and then you're just using the flathead driver. That's what I did for a long time. I used to carry a Leatherman Skeletal. As you can see here, this one's all beat up and well loved. I don't know how many of these flathead screwdriver bits I went through because I was using them as a pry bar. So I wanted something dedicated, something that had a carry system, something that was made out of the proper materials, that actually would perform and was easy to access. And that's where this came on the scene. This is perfect. It doesn't come to a sharp point. So if you're looking for something to like chisel with, this probably isn't for you. But you can scrape with this. I've done plenty of scraping stickers and goop and shit off of all kinds of surfaces. It's beveled on both sides, so it tapers down like that. It comes to a cute enough tip, but not thin enough that you're going to start worrying about it chipping or anything like that. The one thing I find myself using this a lot for is like I break down a lot of cardboard either at work or at home, and sometimes like the big industrial cardboard boxes have staples and shit in them. It's a lot easier for me to get in there and just pop the staples out real quick so that when I'm cutting the cardboard down, I don't accidentally run a hardened steel blade into a staple, chip my knife, and now I have to spend an hour reprofiling my edge. It's just easier to pop the staples out with this. Same thing, my old job, I did a lot of shipping. So like those, if you guys are familiar with those like U-line tubes that you can pack stuff in, they have the lid with a little bit of a lip there that you're supposed to like get your fingers underneath and pull them up. It's a pain. But with this, I just stick it under the lip, press on the side, and pop those lids off. So that was a really good use for this. Similarly, my father the other week had gotten a new CNC router for his shop. And we were setting that up, and there was like a clamp that we had to fit the router down into, and it was just not fitting. And I was able to fit the pry bar in there between the clamp and just pry it open enough that we were able to slip the router head through and get that all tightened up. So yeah, it's just a really good tool. I don't really have a whole lot else to say about it other than it works really well. Just to give you some examples of some other stuff, we saw the multi-tools. Those are an option to use as a pry bar. And again, I'm going over things that I think are actually useful tools. I'm not going to talk about any of the dumb anodized hot pink titanium baby shit soft steel. It's stupid. We're not going to talk about any of that. But there are some other options out there. A lot of like multi-tools like these Giltex here have like a pry surface on the back, but again, these are made of aluminum, so they're really just more for scraping or like very light prying. I've carried those in the past. There's stuff like the Wingard Quill here, which is made of steel, can be used as a pry bar, but just a little bit more unconventional. For me, this is harder to carry than something like this. Still a very good tool. For a while here, this is made by Bowman Knives over on Instagram. He's a very, very excellent knife maker, and he made me this little pry tool out of some scrap steel. I ended up doing the paracord wrap, so don't judge him for the shitty paracord wrap that I did. But this is a great tool. And it's come down some really nice thin edges. As you can see, I've bugged it up a little bit using it. It is a good tool, but there's not really a carry system. So again, I'm either left slipping it into an organizer where it's harder to get to, or it's just floating around in my pocket where it gets turned sideways and sticks me in the leg, or it falls out of my pocket. So that was a no-go for me. This is one that I actually made myself out of a combination wrench a while ago. I just kind of, I took the wrench head off and then beveled this down on a couple sides into an actual pry tool. And this works really well. It's made of steel. These wrenches are really high quality. So, the steel's going to be fine. It's going to hold up for what it is. But again, not really a carry system. This is very slick. So even when I had it in an organizer, it would often fall out. And so I had some like grip tape on it for a while, and I'd put it in my pocket, but again, then it would turn sideways, and it's just kind of inconvenient. But I am kind of proud of this. I really actually do like this pry tool. I still throw it in my kit sometimes, but this hits all the bases. It has good material. It's a simple design. It doesn't have any extra shit on it, and it has an excellent carry system. The carry system's not too big. It's nice and slim. If you're familiar with my channel, offensive industry sheaths are kind of my favorite thing, or these ambidextrous Kydex sheaths that have the discrete carry concepts clip on there. You just clip it in your pocket. Very easy to get to your fixed blade. This is even thinner than something like that. Like, you could probably fit 2 of these in the profile of an offensive industry sheath. There you go. So this is not a hard thing to carry. It's very convenient. And with my carry system that I currently use, this pouch here, this is from Citizen E over on Instagram. If I don't want my pens in there, like if I don't need a Sharpie, I'm at the range, I already got my kit on me, I got Sharpies everywhere, I'll throw my pen in my shirt pocket. And if I have a bunch of stuff in my pockets already, I can still slip this into my organizer. It fits in that pocket really nicely. These also do fit down in all kinds of like PALS webbing. So if you want to run this on a bag or a chest rig or a plate carrier or something like that, this fits down in that webbing really nice. I can see this being a great addition to a piece of kit. A lot of guys keep like really thick overbuilt knives on their kit because they're going to dig around and pry and shit on them, whether it's on the range or in the field. But if you want to keep an actual like defensive knife that you don't have to worry about having to pry with, and then this is nice and lightweight and slim, you can slip this down in one section of webbing, and now you have a pry tool here that, you're out on the range, you got to pull some pallets apart to set up some targets, you got to scrape some stickers off of something, you can even use it as a flathead to adjust some of your optics, like your EOTech battery cases and stuff like that. This fits in there. So I think this is a really versatile tool that a lot of people should take more seriously. And again, this is kind of a PSA of please stop buying these stupid, overpriced, poorly designed pry bars that people just flood the market with, and go buy something like this. Even something like this, I'd be more happy with you guys using because it's actually made of steel. But if you want something with a good carry system, easy to carry, performs well, this is the way to go. I love this tool. I don't see myself not carrying this anytime soon. The other thing that you can use this for is, if you're traveling, there are stipulations with, again, I kind of think some of these are dumb, but like TSA has certain rules about like screwdrivers under a certain length are allowed on planes. This is 6 inches. It technically is allowed. Again, I'm not a lawyer. Do not quote me on this, but you could technically fly with this, and then you have a little bit of utility, and you want to poke someone with that, it's not going to feel good and it's going to hold up. So if you need a non-lethal option, or you're traveling somewhere you can't have a firearm or a knife or something like that, this is pretty easy to get to. I added this little lanyard in here. This is in your pocket. It's very easy to just grab this and go right into a reverse grip and give someone a little jab, jab, poke, poke, and get the fuck off of me, So it's got a lot of options to it, but guys, I really, really like this tool. I really want you guys to go check out FLC Knives and check out his knives too. He makes really cool knives, does great Kydex, but I think these are a winner. And they're only about $100. So I think they're like $90. And then with like the shipping costs from Canada, it comes out to around like 100, 110, which, you're like, Andrew, you're paying $100 for a piece of steel. Yeah, but you're also paying for this super high quality sheath, and carry system. I really think it is worth it. Sell one of your knives that you really don't need, one of your knives that just sits in your drawer, and go pick one of these up, and you're going to carry it every day and use it a ton. So I am going to become an evangelist for this tool. I think it's excellent. I think it's well designed. I think it's worth it. So I will leave links down in the description to his page. If you guys have any questions about this, please leave them down below. Again, please leave me some feedback on what you think about me doing some ad reads on the channel. And please go check out FLC Knives. Go check out Auxiliary Manufacturing. And I will see you guys in the next video.